Neil, we were talking a little bit. I know yesterday would have been your father's 81st birthday. I think one of the things that I always I like that you say a lot is that you would say that your father said forget your feelings.
Hmm.
Feelings about the situation don't matter. You need to wrap your mind around what it is you need to do. Tell anybody who may be want to glean something from that. What the wisdom was, what he was trying to say with that particular phrase.
Yeah, one of the principles my dad taught me was the principle to transcend my feelings, personal transcendence. He said that, this is after I finished my college degree, and he gave me two important lessons. I'll share both of them. The first one was what you just talked about. He said, if something needs to be done, how you feel about it doesn't matter. Bend your mind around it and do it. And that has always stuck with me. It's probably the most important lesson I've learned in my life, and that I use is that in this moment, what is happening and how I'm feeling is irrelevant. What is my objective? What are my goals? What's my purpose? And act in alignment with that, not with the context of the environment, not with what's going on. Remain true to that. And so that is something that shapes and molds and defined me, to the degree that people think that I'm actually hard to connect to emotionally because I don't get caught up in stuff. I'm not a shoot the breeze kind of guy. Small talk. It's what are we doing?
Yeah,
What are we trying to accomplish here? That's something I got from my dad and his seriousness about life and about your purpose in it. And I believe that I have an obligation to him to, even in death, to still honor him and to still continue down a path that would bring honor to him, and to make valuable his sacrifice so that he can feel that. All right, we'll stop for a second.
yeah. No, it's a real statement, bro. I mean, when I think about you sharing the sacrifice that he made, it's very ancestral to have to come to another country and do things that our ancestors were enslaved to do and sacrifice in that way for your family. And I think that as men, when you kind of share that to me, and I recognize the same thing in my own father, obviously, and God bless the spirit and the energy that they brought to the country because I think it's definitely an example for us to learn from. And I say that because hearing you speak about it in our conversations when we're just talking and moving about, I feel like it's very powerful, man. And I have a lot of
Yeah.
respect for that, bro. If there was anything that anybody watching, how would you sum this up as it relates to what you shared with your father, your
Yeah.
own experience, your own success? What would you
I
say?
would say honor your mother and your father. I would say, um, no one's parents are perfect. My parents weren't perfect, but in the fact that they are your parents, honor them, um, love them, remember them, teach your children about them. Uh, I We make it an effort in our home to tell our son about my his his grandfather, my father, and great grandfather and grandmothers, so that he knows what's expected of him, what our tradition has been, and so I think that's something that I would say to sum this up, and talk frequently about your ancestors. Remember them.
Yeah, remembrance. Man, well, thank you, bro. Thanks for sharing this. I think it's powerful, and the connection between the father and his son, and that remembrance that you're speaking of, man. I
Yeah, the last thing I'll probably add to that I would say is that the theme for me in all of this is being a good steward of your of the legacy of your lineage. right? Is work that out somehow. Figure out how you can be a good steward of the legacy of your lineage, because at the end of the day, that's probably the only stable thing that you can provide your to posterity, because wealth come and go. Uh, those generations, you might build it up and be really strong, and your kids might be able to carry it on, but your great grandkids, man, there's no guarantee. But the legacy of your lineage legacy can be sustained more stably than wealth or material gains.